Good Packer Nation Tuesday morning, everybody. The sun is shining, the clouds are parting. It's a good day for Packer Nation in all sorts of interesting ways today. No, we're not celebrating a win this week. However, we are celebrating the fact that the offense seemed to get their feet back under them again, and things are looking a little bit better for the future of the Packer offense right now. And of course, the Bears beat the Vikings last night. So jump on right now. Let me know who you are, where you're coming at me from. I see my buddy Sean is already out there. My buddy Adam is already on, saying good morning to the whole Packer family. A lot of love going around. Brown is here. Good to see you. Mike from Winnipeg. Awesome. Very good. Adam says, the one time I was rooting for the Bears, and I'm not sure. I always phrase it that I'm rooting against the other team, but, you know, the saying is true. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Atreyu's here. Cool breeze. Todd and Felton, good morning. Welcome, everybody. Bryce is here, and Mike as well, saying what up. Yeah, folks, we talked about it yesterday, did we not? And all of you guys, I'm sure, commented. I don't know if I saw the comments in the stream or not, but there were a lot of people out there wanting to see a resurgent Jay Cutler just for one night. And honestly, he didn't even play that well. We're gonna talk about that a little bit and circle the stat. He threw the one touchdown. They had a touchdown on the ground, but the Bears did enough to beat the Vikings 20-10. How do you feel about that? You can emoji me your feelings on that as we get started with the show. Yeah, Bears over the Vikings 20-10 last night. Jay Cutler coming back. The guy, for all intents and purposes, he is a lame duck quarterback. And he goes out there, but here's the thing, and I might have mentioned this yesterday. But the fact of the matter is, Jay is playing for his future right now. So he has every motivation to go out there and play well. He did enough. He did enough to get the job done, and I don't care how it happened. I was just somewhat surprised. Even though we mentioned it yesterday, it was an opportunity, and I also have said for the last few weeks that the Vikings defense they seem to almost be coming to a bit of a halt, grinding halt. They're not the same defense right now. I don't know if people have figured them out. They're going to struggle perhaps down the stretch. They have to now play the Packers. Next game, we get to play them at Lambeau Field. So we talked yesterday about how the standings were important right now. Even if we, heaven forbid and hope for the best, can't win the North, we're still in really good shape, and we really have our hand on the wheel in terms of our destiny in the NFC. If in the playoff picture itself. But now with the Vikings losing to the Bears, we are right back in the thick of things. And if the Vikings go into a tailspin, and the way they played the last couple weeks, they've got some tough outings out there. I was going to call up their schedule and didn't, but this is a team that has to play the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals aren't playing well this year. However, it's a kind of team that could pull one off against the Vikings. They've got some difficult games yet ahead of them, and still have to play all the teams that we play in terms of the NFC East teams. They've still got the Cowboys to play out there. There's a couple losses on the docket left, I think, for the Minnesota Vikings. But boy, isn't it nice? Isn't it nice that it started last night against the Bears? I mean, my goodness. My cousin Scotty is here. Hey there, buddy. How you doing? And my cousin Scott, and then there's a Scotty Thomas right below him. Not related, but how you doing, buddy? Glad you're here. That was kind of weird, actually. Tim is here. Adiane is here. Sherry. All right, good to see you. Phil is back. Folks, and Phil is making a good point, and we talked about this just yesterday. He's saying, I'm going to read the whole thing. Remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Purple rain is now purple tears. We talked about that yesterday, that the Packers, and we, I had to make the comment because there are people out there think the sky is falling with the loss. And we had people commenting, last week that if we can't beat the Falcons, it is over. That is not the case. And we talked about that yesterday, that we are actually in a very good position the way the other divisions are laying out right now. If we have dominant other divisions, We still have that opportunity, and everything is still in front of us right now. There are plenty of games to play, and look at that NFC division, 3 division rivalries to close out the season in December. The NFL has we knew that this was going to be a grueling season for the Green Bay Packers. That proved true. No one could predict the injury situation. That's going to make it even tougher, but down the road, we're going to be able to get some of these guys back. And if the offense can continue to click with these young receivers, we did see Aaron Rodgers missed a few, and there's still a miscommunication or two on the field. But if we get continue to dial this in, there's good things on the horizon for the Green Bay Packers. All right, let's see. I guess I should stick to my script, right? I never do I? You all know that. All right, well, hey, also, I haven't talked a lot about the World Series, but hey, guys, the Cubbies came back into it, so now it's 2-3, and I wanted to see this thing go to 7 games, just because anytime it's the World Series and it's not my team, the Brewers, I want to see it go to 7 games, but the Cubbies got a chance tonight, 8 o'clock, I think, tonight. So if you want to give a shout out to, if you're a fan of the Browns, the Cleveland Indians, or the Cubbies right now, I want the Cubbies to win just because I have a little bit of history and a lot of family history with the Cubbies. Been to Wrigley, and it's really a fantastic place. So yeah, you can give a shout out to your baseball team right now. That's perfectly all right. And of course, in the news, we caught, maybe you didn't catch the Packers releasing Knile Davis right quick. He didn't even get out of the gate because he didn't have any production in the game on Sunday afternoon. And a little bit of a surprise, but I think the Packers saw that they weren't going to get enough is what. I saw opportunity with Knile Davis, to be quite honest, but and he caught a couple balls out of the backfield. He caught that one little flip that didn't go for any yards, but he caught it, and then he had the one little catch for a first down, I believe, in the game against the Falcons. But the Packers just didn't see enough and didn't want to end up having to give up a draft pick in that situation. So I think that it was conditional, and I think that they're saving themselves from that in this scenario. I'm not sure about that, but we'll see. Well, of course. So maybe they make a move today. Wouldn't that be nice? We would love to see something exciting happen in Packer Nation, but honestly, the most exciting thing for me is to start seeing some of our guys come back healthy. So, all right. So he's, no longer a Packer. We're moving forward. That to me brings a conversation, and I wanted to talk about this and circle the stat. So let's do some circle the stat. This is one that you might not have focused on. I try to pick up the stuff that makes it interesting, not necessarily the stuff that is obvious. One that I am looking at right now for Circle the Stat is Aaron Ripkowski with 6 rushes for 34 yards in this game. He's the most productive running back we had, not the most productive runner. That would be Aaron Rodgers with 60 yards on the ground. Which isn't necessarily a good sign. However, what I did like to see, we went to, in particular, the end of the game, that final drive, we went to Ripkowski and we were able to get enough. He was able to do enough to keep the defense honest in this game. And then he did enough in that scenario that, remember, that you score the touchdown, and I wanted to circle that too, because we didn't maybe give enough love. Nice timing by Jeff Janis to get the touchdown in that situation, put the Packers ahead. But it was the fake to Aaron Ripkowski that drew the defense over, and Aaron Rodgers walks in on the 2-point conversion. I want to give a little love and a circle the stat out there to Aaron Ripkowski. And here's the reason. Not that I thought he was dominant. He was not. He had I think a 12-yard was his long. He had the nice 12-yard gain. So he did enough. But here's the deal. We expect Ty Montgomery to come back, and I feel like the Packers, this is part of the reason they felt like they didn't need Davis on the roster. They feel like Montgomery and Ripkowski in that backfield are going to turn into something that could be enough to hold us over, perhaps, until hopefully we get, knock on wood, Eddie Lacy back. I'm still holding hope for that. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, and we'll see what happens down the road. And again, they may make a move as on top of that. But I did see enough out of Aaron Ripkowski. Scotty says did his job, and we needed that at that time. So yeah, I wanted to give a shout out, circle the stat for Aaron Ripkowski. The other stat I wanted to circle I just called up before I got on the show, and that is, I want to circle Jay Cutler, quarterback of the Bears, 20 for 31, which is, it's okay. It's okay. 252 yards, had some yards, and he had the one touchdown. He gave the Bears enough to win the game. So Jay Cutler on my show gets a circle the stat, and the reason being, we in Packer Nation could not be happier that he did enough to win, and he really didn't look dominant either. We don't want him to turn into some kind of superstar overnight, because we still got to play these guys. Last game of the season, we still got to play him a couple times. All right, so anyway, the question is, I guess, whether the Bears, can do anything in the North. I still doubt it, but confidence winning a game against the Vikings. And, of course, I believe that they have a rematch with the Vikings. I think the Vikings' last game of the season is against the Bears, and that will be at U.S. Bank Stadium now, because this one was at Soldier, I'm pretty sure. And the Packers in that Week 17 matchup will have to travel to Detroit. This is shaping up to be one heck of a season right now. And one thing I do want to mention, Jim is saying the Vikings are just falling apart after their bye. And maybe you've noticed, is this a trend with them? I'm not sure if it's a trend with them. The Packers generally play really well after the bye. But hey, perfect time for the Vikings to start imploding. Perfect time. They've got some much tougher competition still to come down the road. And, of course, so do the Packers. We've got some tough games coming up. But yes, Sean is mentioning also Chris Banjo released off the IR list. So he's one we can take off. He's not anybody that we would have expected the Packers probably were going to focus on to return or to take off that list. Not when you got Sam Shields and Eddie Lacy there. So best of luck to him, and I'm not sure what's going on. Bryce is asking, is Lacy gone for the season? He is on IR, but they can, after 8 weeks, they have a chance to take one player off the IR list. And so, you got Shields, you got a couple guys in the mix, really could make a difference down the road. So, folks, I completely lost my train of thought now. I had something I wanted to talk about. I did definitely want to give this young group of wide receivers that got out on the field. Oh, I know what I wanted to talk about, because we've mentioned this before, that the soil of adversity is sometimes very fertile. And I think that's what we're seeing, is the adversity is bringing out the best in this team right now. Obviously, our defense didn't have the most fantastic game, but we did shut down Julio Jones. Would have loved to see them be able to hold the line at the end of that game. We were all just looking for one stop in that game. Jake Ryan, doing his best against Sanu, I think it was, in the end zone. He just went shallow on that, just went way too shallow, took himself out of position. You can't do that. However, this kind of, there's still a lot to learn from these guys, for these young players. So, this is a team that's still developing. And like we've said, almost from the beginning, at least my impression was, this wasn't a team that we're going out on the field and we're sucking because we don't have the personnel to do it. Even with the personnel we had, look at the list of injured players that couldn't play. We still put together a fantastic performance when all was said and done against the Falcons. And it just wasn't enough. Sometimes it's not enough. And there's one or two plays that we left on the field, and this is a 1-point game you're talking about. And that, folks, is the NFL. It's kind of unfortunate, but we will see. And Arturo is mentioning, expect Davis to have a good game against the Colts. And this is a big opportunity, guys. We said this yesterday, and I think everybody agreed. Give me a thumbs up if you agree. We talked about it yesterday, but that even though we lost this game, this is a game that I think gave the offense a lot of confidence. I think it was a confidence builder. You don't always get that opportunity. A game that you did not win, a lot of times you're hanging your head. This is a team that from all the way through this game was a lot more relaxed. They were having a lot more fun. And that's one of the things that we haven't seen. And it's hard when you lose. It's hard when even you win. We've had games that we've won where this offense ended up hanging its head that really hadn't played very well. This is a game where, no, we didn't win the game. And that's the most important thing we need to win. But this is a game where the offense, I think, really built a lot of confidence that, hey, man, we've got some players on the field. We are starting to dial it in. Aaron Rodgers is starting to get, he's starting to get in rhythm with his receivers. Jordy Nelson, I want to talk about Jordy Nelson a little bit. Jordy Nelson was this close to having an absolutely phenomenal game in this game. He was just, there was one high ball. But he had the magnificent bobbled catch that was, I believe, tipped. I thought that was a great defensive play, almost enough to knock the ball on the turf. And Jordy, had he caught that ball in stride, he would have gone a long way. He did have the one play. Then he had the one play where, he's got a first down and he steps back. He made a completely un-Jordy-like mistake out there. Of course, we got that one back with the 12 men on the field call, thankfully. And thank goodness for instant replay. I'll drink to instant replay. I'm drinking way too much coffee today, like twice as much as I normally do. So I don't know if I'm tired or what. I guess I stayed up late with the Monday night game, so maybe that's why. But yeah, guys like Trevor Davis came in. Trevor Davis, to me, honestly, I thought Trevor Davis was our best wide receiver after the play broke down in this game. He's the one guy that I saw really Geronimo Allison, his touchdown catch, stepping back once the play breaks down. One of the things you got to roll with the quarterback, but you always also have to come back toward him. And I thought Trevor Davis was one of our best performers out there when the play broke down, and he's going to improve. Now we've got this wide receiver core of ours. You look at the group, you start out, it is such a varied group of wide receivers. There are no two receivers alike on the Packers team, and I like that. That's going to cause a lot of headaches for defensive coordinators. It's going to cause it, and it's the seeds of some very creative play when you're an offensive coordinator or the Packers head coach, Mike McCarthy. You got a Jordy Nelson, the veteran. He's big. He's fast. He knows pretty much everything there is to know about the position. And he's completely in sync with Aaron Rodgers. He hasn't been this year, but the guy has millions of reps with Aaron Rodgers. You got a Randall Cobb who I hope he can come back healthy. You got a Randall Cobb, though. He's nifty. He's not as big of a guy, but he is fast. He can play out of the backfield. He's as good a slot receiver as we could want. And you got a Devontae Adams he's really fast, extremely athletic, but a pretty big guy. Another receiver that we saw against the Falcons, able to play in the backfield. Then you got a Trevor Davis who's really just a speed burner. He's a prototypical receiver. A chicken-legged, really fast dude out there with good hands. But this guy can just flat out run. And we saw it. Look at the punt return he had. 55-yarder, I think. And then you've got Janis, but he's another big guy who's got a lot of speed. And if he can get his feet under him, he's good. And then you got Geronimo Allison, who's just he's a 6'3", I think. But he's got some weight on him. He's not just a speed burner. He's not no light load. And if this wide receiver core starts to hit its stride, we are going to really have a lot of weapons and a lot of packages that we can roll out with this. You look at the 4 wide receiver set that we had was much more successful than we've had, especially last season, and would love to see that success and would love to. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. And, of course, the defensive side of the ball, I did want to give a shout-out in this game. Who was it? Was it Bryce? Kentrell Bryce. This was the third quarter drive that the Packers had to go. It was 3rd and goal after this play. But the play was to Devontae Freeman. I think he caught it out of the backfield, but he is running. I mean, he is nose to the goal line in that play. Kentrell Bryce comes up. You guys may remember the play. And stones Freeman on the 1-yard line. And I mean, Freeman, he smelled the end zone. When you're a running back and you smell the end zone, there is you turn it on. There's a new gear that comes in. He drops his shoulder and Kentrell Bryce stoned him cold on the 1-yard line. That was probably one of my favorite. I think HaHa had some great hits in this game, but that was probably my favorite hit of this game. Just stoned him. And then the Packers defense, from at the 1 yard line, they finally failed in the end and gave a touchdown, but for, like 2 more plays, we stuffed the Atlanta Falcons defense. We ended up giving up our first touchdown on the ground in 100 and whatever, I don't know, forever. So that's a disappointment, but this is a defense again. I was thinking about this, and you guys may remember last year how, obviously you recall our defense is what carried us because our offense was really sputtering almost all season, especially after the 6-0 start. As soon as we hit Denver, it was kind of a difficult season for us offensively. But in the playoffs, our defense became dominant. Obviously, we all remember that final series, the final breakdown against the Cardinals. But our defense, kicked it up a notch. And I feel like this Packer defense, even though, again, we gave up quite a few points in this game. But again, from the defensive side of the ball, we were no Clay Matthews, no Sam Shields. Both of our corners, Randall and Rollins, are out. I feel like this defense as well got a confidence boost in this game. And you see Ladarius Gunter lining up man-to-man. And I'm loving Ladarius Gunter. And you see Ladarius Gunter with the game-winning interception that we didn't get. Again, I think Sanu it was, and I think he actually knocked the ball away. You got to give him credit, for a good play in that case. But Gunter has some instincts, man. He knows how to break on the ball, and I like his attitude, and I like the fact that we are starting to develop. I've said this for a long time. I said it before the season began in training camp. I said if Gunter can develop into the kind of guy that can follow around a team's best receiver, watch out for the Packers defense. We are going to be a scary defense to deal with. And we haven't seen as much of that just yet. But again, it's a marathon, like Phil says. We're going to start getting some guys back. It's going to start to get really interesting. And this game against the Colts is a real opportunity to continue to build on that confidence, folks. So that's really about all I wanted to talk about today. That's all I had written down. So I know there's more. I don't want to start talking too much about the Colts game today. Okay. So tomorrow's Wednesday. I think that's the good day to do that. And then Wednesday, we will probably, we'll get the injury report, so maybe we get some good news to talk about on Thursday, guys, and then pretty soon we'll be rolling right into another Packer weekend. So I hope you are having a great Tuesday so far. My son got up, he had to roll out for work, and basically it was like, I can't believe the Bears won. Have a good day. It was like we were just smiling about it, and yesterday we were talking about how great it would be if the Bears if Cutler could pull one out of his butt, and doggone if he didn't do it. And it's a happy day in Packer Nation because of it. So we are right up there again now with the Vikings. We're going to watch their gameplay very closely from here on out because it looks like their needle is pointing in a downward direction right now. That's a problem. One of the things that I have said, I have stood up for Mike McCarthy in this, and I have been a stalwart that I think Mike McCarthy manages players as well as anyone in the league. And it started before the season began. It started with Mike McCarthy holding our starters out. He was protecting them. Part of the reason we did not have the offensive performances that we had is because our offense and our defense too, these guys had not seen the field. Now, do you think McCarthy didn't know that was a risk? Yes, he did. But he knew, he did not want to lose a Jordy Nelson in this season. So he took the risk. Now during the season, who could predict the number of injuries that we were going to have? This team is a triage unit right now. Or needs a triage unit. I don't know. It's not good. Mike McCarthy, he's holding, Ty Montgomery was held out for precautionary reasons. We're not sure exactly what the story is there, but they're going to hold him out. And Peter's got the Vikings like 9 million arrows pointing down. We could probably get a heart or two for Peter, my friend Peter out there right now, who, by the way, we found out yesterday is expecting a baby, and we hope everything goes great with that. And we want to hear, you better let us know. You better be on the show and tell us, even if she's having the baby, you need to be there, man. I have a story that I will have to tell. Actually, well, all right, let me throw this out to you guys, because really the show's over. Heart me up or give me a thumbs up if you want to hear the coolest, what I think is the coolest baby story ever told, to be quite honest. And it happened. It was with my son, my firstborn. If you want to hear it, give me a thumbs up. If you don't, give me an angry face. If that is going to tick you off because it's too long, or whatever. Because it is a bit of a story, and I don't want to keep you too long. Yesterday, we went for like an hour, guys, and I don't usually do that, but it was a great show. I mean, man, good stuff to talk about. All right, it looks like people want to hear this story, so I'm going to go ahead for it. All right, so you will recall the Super Bowl run for Super Bowl 31. This is Brett Favre era now that we're talking about. So I'm going to date myself a little bit, but that's okay. I was expecting my firstborn son. And so he happened, and so we went in. You go in, you got to have your Lamaze classes, right? So I go in. You got to have our Lamaze class, right? So everyone, I'm living in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, I'm living in Chippewa Falls, all right, and going to the hospitals in Eau Claire. So we go to this Lamaze class, and the first thing the instructor does, all right, because this is Packer. This is the middle of Packer country. I mean, this is Packer fever. This is green and gold just oozing from the ceilings around here. I loved it. I miss it. So we get in, and this instructor, the first thing she does, because, the dads come in with, and she sat down and she looked all of us dads in the eye, and she pointed her finger at us. And she said, now don't you let me catch you, or don't you let me hear you dads. If the Packers go to the Super Bowl, don't you dare let me find out that you were watching the Super Bowl while your wife is having a baby. I will hunt you down. She was just like so adamant about it. She's like, don't you ever let me find out that you are watching a doggone Super Bowl while your wife is in labor. That is unacceptable. And she needed to tell us that because honestly, some of us dads, I mean, we're that rabid Packer fans that our wife could be in labor and we would be watching the Packers play. Okay? So kudos to her. All right? So fast forward to December 22nd of that year. And the Packers, it just happened, December 22nd, just happens to be a Sunday. And just happens to be the day we go in and we go in the night before, right? So it's a long extended labor. And the baby is about, and things are just starting to progress, all right? So you're looking at contractions getting closer together, your effacement, all that kind of stuff. You're following that very closely. Things are progressing. We're getting close. We're not walking around the building. It is happening. We're watching, the little readout looks like the mountains, and you're going, oh my gosh, and you're thinking this just must really hurt. And I hope we can get this over with quickly. And that's probably what you're thinking about this story. I hope you can get it over with quickly. So the Packer game is on, right? The Packer game is on, and I'm sitting purposefully with my back to the television. I'm not going to turn it off. It's just I didn't turn it on. I want to make that clear. It's on. Packers versus Vikings. Edgar Bennett era. And I'm purposefully putting my back to the screen, just trying. I'm listening, if I was going to be honest. And then what? And this is an absolute quote of my wife right now, because what I see is she looks over my shoulder, and here's the quote because it comes right after a contraction. She goes, whew. Oh, that was a bad one. Run! That's the quote. And Edgar Bennett is running for a first down over my shoulder, and she is watching the game. So from that point on, rightly or wrongly, I considered that was my key that I could go ahead and watch the the Packers beat the Vikings on that occasion, and we go on and we win the Super Bowl, the Brett Favre helmet over his shoulder Super Bowl. But that is the exact quote, and for all you women, especially those of you who have gone through labor before, we commend you. If you are that much of a Packer fan, that you guys are stronger than all the rest of us. You are tough as the football players that you watch on the field. But that is the exact quote, and I will never forget it. And just shortly after that time, my little buddy, well, he's not little anymore, Jonah was born. Just as, well, it was a little bit scary at first because he didn't breathe right off the bat. Had the umbilical cord wrapped around his neck. So there was a very tense moment, and we forgot about football for a little bit there, and then he was born and everything was okay. So Peter, that story is for you, and it's also for all of you Packer fan women out there who have gone through labor. Okay, so thank you for your time on that, and that's pretty much all I wanted to say today, guys. I don't know what else to do. I mean, I am so tempted to start talking about this Colts game because I think it's such a big opportunity for us. This is a Colts team that, remember last season, the Colts made so many moves. And they thought that they were on the cusp of doing really special things with Andrew Luck, but then he got hurt last year. All of the free agent acquisitions didn't seem to pan out for them. And the Colts just seem to implode. And then this year, maybe they get their feet back under them. Has not really seemed to be the case. I'm not sure what their record is, but they are a team that I think this Packers team, after the Falcons game, sees as a real opportunity to continue some of the good things we did, but to finish a game that we weren't quite able to finish this past Sunday afternoon. So with that, I will close the show. If you haven't gotten in your chance to win the Packer Nation trophy for our league, our Fire Fan League doesn't have a name yet. You guys are going to get to name it. But if you haven't gotten in to the league, you can go to greenbaypackernation.com and just scroll down. There's a post. The post says, would you like to go to the Super Bowl? There's a contest you can enter through the company that's creating this new game. You don't even have to play the game or sign up for the league, but also in that post, you can sign up for the league, and then you'll get 12 free tokens when the game comes out. It's coming out in November, right around Thanksgiving. So you can go to greenbaypackernation.com and get in, guys, because time's running out. When Thanksgiving rolls around, there are no more perks for you at that point. You can still get the game. I'll still be talking about it, but you won't get the perks. So time is running out. You want to get in there. Or if you want to just go to firefan.com and put in the promo code, get the ring, all one word. You are in. All right, guys, I hope you have a fantastic day. Really enjoyed chatting with you. Good to see all my friends and all the new people out there. If this is your first time on the show, I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a great afternoon. All right, folks, we'll see if the Packers make any moves now, and tomorrow maybe we'll have something to talk about. But, of course, we'll be talking about this